it's Alirien, and welcome to our Yule Tarot readings for 2025, moving into the 2026 Wheel of the Year. As always, we will be following our usual format by reading 3 cards from a Waite-Smith-style tarot, in this case the Alleyman's tarot, which is the largest tarot deck I own. It has so many more cards. And we will also be reading 1 card from an oracle deck, in this case the Isis Oracle, all inspired by the Egyptian goddess Isis, who is a goddess of protection and motherhood and magic and so many aspects. Yule, of course, marks the end of one wheel and the beginning of the next, so this is a perfect time to make the final transitions and preparations for the next year. Let go of all of what is left from the previous year that you accomplished or didn't accomplish. Take the things that you didn't accomplish and consider whether it's worth trying again in the new year, or see how you can reframe how you can approach it in order to actually get it done this time. And celebrating that the Oak King has redefeated his Holly King counterpart, and the light is going to return because, of course, Yule is the winter solstice. It marks the shortest day and the longest night of the year, which means that after this point, the nights will start getting shorter again and the days longer. The light is returning, slow and not quite evident to our human perceptions, though it may be. This is, of course, also Christmas time. It is the time of Saturnalia, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and the Gregorian New Year, so it's a perfect time for light and love and time with family and friends and general renewal. And what better way to start a year than getting some guidance from whatever spirits may be above or on the other side that want to help guide you into being your best self. So, without further ado, let us go ahead and shuffle both decks, and we will be starting with Sagittarius, because Capricorn starts the day after Yule, so we will actually be starting with Sagittarius and ending off with Scorpio this time. Oh, Chica. Sagittarius, you have drawn the Queen of Pentacles, the 8 of Cups, the inverted 5 of Pentacles, and the Sun. Your oracle card from the goddess Isis is Soul Retrieval. I can barely think of a better reading to surmise the whole point of Yule. The Queen of Pentacles is a card of compassion, of often a very rich, motherly nature. It is someone who is nurturing, who cares for all others, who uses all the resources she has to care for others, to put everyone before herself, her family, her friends, particularly her children. The Queen of Pentacles is someone like you. You go out of your way to make sure that everyone around you is cared for. You make sure everyone has filled a plate before you take any food for yourself. You make sure everybody else is warm before you put on your own sweater, that sort of thing. And that is a fantastic person to have in anyone's life. And those who have you going out of your way to care for them need to recognize how much you do for them, and they should be grateful. But I think perhaps lately you maybe have pushed yourself so hard, you're running on empty. You're still trying your damnedest to put yourself out there for others' needs to your own detriment now, because you are pouring from an empty cup. Every drop that comes back into your cup is immediately going to someone else. The 8 of Cups is one of those cards that signifies that you need to make a change. You need to go through some sort of a transition. And Cups being emotional, there's a relationship or an emotional stance that you're holding on to that you need to get out of. There is someone that you're putting work into that is not reciprocating. And at this point, as much as it will hurt because you're such a provider, you need to recognize that you need to stop going out of your way to provide for this person. You need to turn away, and further, you need to have this sort of emotional reset to remember that the only way you can keep providing for other people is if you provide for yourself too. You need to take care of yourself, because if you're not at your best, you cannot continue doing what you love so much, and that is making everyone else happy. The inverted Five of Pentacles also indicates this having gone too far, because it's left you a little bit destitute in your own resources. You're not just emotionally overdone, but financially, time, energy, your ability to care for other people is dwindling, which means your ability to care for yourself is also dwindling, and that needs to come first right now, unfortunately. But one of the best things you can do is start finding simple joys again. The Sun is a card of joy. It's a card of just pure happiness and mirth and good things, and that is what Yule and Christmas and New Year are for, is to just have good, happy, wondrous times with our friends and our families. Let other people take care of you for a little bit. Let them know what's been going on. Talk to them, because one of the other things that the Five of Pentacles indicates is that help to reset your situation is not far away. And in this case, you're perfectly poised with the time of year to reach out to your friends and family. Let them know you're not doing well. See what ways you can ask them to potentially help, even if it's just listening to what's been going on and keeping you company while you work through things that you're doing that they might not be able to help with. Soul retrieval further is telling you that part of why you are so burned out and so run down is because you've given so much to so many people and to so many things that you care about as well. Whether it's donating to charity or the number of projects you've taken on, you've given so much of yourself that you don't have enough of yourself to cling to keep yourself going. So take some time to call that energy back. Whether it's taking a day to just do the things you need to do to take care of yourself, to kind of reset, or you go that little bit further and spiritually you sit there and you say, I call back all of my energy that still clings to these people, to these places, whatever it may be, especially anyone that you have had to cut off or walk away from. You need to firmly and finally cut any of those ties from things you needed to sever. Perhaps even do a cord cutting in whatever way makes sense to you. And you need to call all of your energy back to you. And one of the best ways to do that is to just engage in all of the things that make you purely happy. Not for anything other than just being happy. And I know that for someone like you, part of what makes you happy is providing for other people. But you need to do the things that only work for you for a little bit. Just until you feel better, just until you're fully refreshed, and then you can turn around and start providing for other people again. But it's gotta be a balance. Capricorn, you have pulled a few extra cards because of one of the main cards. I'll get there. You have pulled the Performer, Sowing Death, Giuseppe, Father Sleep inverted. Giuseppe says to pull extra cards, which has drawn you the Page of Pentacles, the Night Owl, the Lone and Level Sands, and your Isis Oracle is the Abundance of Sothis. Capricorn, I have reason to suspect, and I'm right there in the boat with you, so fret not. I have reason to suspect that you have been focused on just getting through for a while now. You've been very, very focused on just surviving. You're feeling very stuck and like nothing is working out for you, and you don't know what to do about it. Because in some ways you feel like you are supposed to just walk away and not keep trying. But there's a part of you that can't or won't believe that, and you just don't know what to do. And your being stuck on how to handle it means that you're not moving any direction with it, and you're so engrossed in what to do that it's starting to affect other parts of your life, or has affected other parts of your life, and you're just completely out of whack at this point. The Performer is a card about the masks we wear in certain situations. Because performing or deceiving can often be seen as a very negative thing, a very malicious thing. But sometimes we perform and we put on a facade for the sake of trying not to let other people know what's really going on. Trying not to let other people worry. Trying not to deal with other people's attempts to help or make it better, because ultimately it's probably just going to make you feel worse. Because their approach to helping you feel better isn't really going to help. It's ultimately just going to help them feel like they helped. But you don't know how to talk about that, because if you say anything, you're going to feel like an ass for complaining about how someone tried to help you feel better, right? You've been so distraught. You don't know how to fix it. You don't know how to deal with it, partially because you feel like you can't or won't talk to anyone about it. Anytime you try to talk about it, you just get upset, and then you get more upset that you're getting upset and can't talk about it. Like, it's this horrible cycle. So it's easier just to put on a brave face and say you'll deal with it another time, which means that everything keeps getting pushed back. Death, especially this version of death is about change. Very necessary change. Something needs to change. You either need to get over the fact that you're going to get upset, because let's face it, it's natural to get upset as you're venting about something that's bothering you or that's seriously affecting you, but you need to get it out, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. You need to change something about what's going on. And when you accept that this change needs to happen and take the steps to enact it, you will be sowing the seeds of something new and something better. You will be making the first steps toward something good. Probably the first steps in a long time actually toward your goal, or goals, whatever they might be. This is the death that most clearly opens the door to something on the other side. It won't be comfortable. Doing the work to sow new crops, to plant new seeds, is difficult. It is tedious, but it needs to be done. That said, Giuseppe is all about the limitless potential, not just for what you can do, but for happiness from that lies beyond your current situation. It's part of why Giuseppe tells you to pull more cards. In this case, the Page of Pentacles, the beginnings of personal stability with your money, with your time, with your energy, any of your resources. It's the beginnings of a project. It's someone who is so eager to begin and to learn. I think that could be part of what's hanging over you, is you're so caught up in everything that hasn't gone right that you've forgotten the sense of wonder for what you can learn. You should know more than anyone, there's not always one single way to get through something. That ultimately is what some of these cards are reminding you. It's what Death and Giuseppe are trying to remind you. There are so many paths and potentials. The Night Owl reminds you as well, uncomfortable as it may be, that part of your situation is your own making. Somewhere along the way, you made choices that brought you down this path. And choosing not to open up to people, choosing not to deal with it when it very clearly needs to be dealt with because it's not comfortable, is a conscious choice. That conscious choice may have become habit, but it started as conscious choice. Somewhere along the way, you have built this situation. You have made this bed. So now you can either lie in that bed, or you can change the sheets, replace the mattress. You can fix or replace the frame if it's really that bad and it's really that necessary. Consider what things you're clinging too hard to that you need to let go of in order to help fix it. Recognize that you are fully capable of fixing it. Again, full potential from Giuseppe to navigate this, no matter how desperate it feels right now. Lone and Level Sands warns you of being too hubristic. As awful as you feel now, don't let how awful you feel now push you over an edge from which you cannot return. Likewise, don't let the positive aspects of this reading push you too far the other way. You don't take this reading as everything's gonna be all right, so I can just keep doing what I'm doing. Don't take it as I don't need to change anything because it said the good things are coming to me. You have to take the steps in order to write your path. Don't let anything or anyone, including yourself, get too far into your own head that it makes you do something you're going to regret. Father Sleep is some sort of force or energy that's trying to convince you that it's a lost cause and you should just give up. Whoever or whatever that is, especially if it's in your own head, you need to look it in the eye and tell it to shut the fuck up. You will not give up. You need to change some of how you're approaching it, change your methods, reshuffle your schedule, whatever you need to do to give yourself fresh energy to approach this. Change anything and everything about how you're doing this. But do not, under any circumstances, give up. Because, hinted at by Giuseppe in Page of Pentacles, but wholeheartedly confirmed by Abundance of Sothis, there is so much new and prosperous and abundant that is coming to you. There is so much in store for you and waiting to meet you on the road. But you need to take the steps to actually meet it. Change your approach. Change how you're thinking about it. Change how you're feeling about it. Change how you talk about it. Change how you act. It doesn't matter how much needs to change. Something needs to change about how you're trying to approach this goal. When you make those changes and stand by them, it won't be long. There is so much in store for you. But you need to open up and be honest about it. And you need to accept that something wasn't working. And you need to change how you're doing it. Aquarius, you have drawn the Lone and Level Sands, Dagas, Lightning in a Bottle, trademark, Judgment, the Sun, and your oracle cards are Portal of Light and Miracle of Isis. There's a drastic shift in your perspective happening right now, Aquarius. The Lone and Level Sands, as with Capricorn, is a warning of hubris, not to stand too close to the precipice in either scenario of being desperate and withdrawn and sorrowful and depressed and anxious, but also on the other side, not to be too full of yourself, not to be too proud, not to be too arrogant, because it seems that there's a significant, as I said, a significant shift in your perspective, an awakening that is occurring here, a breakthrough. I think you're coming to recognize in various ways that in some ways you've been trying too hard, and in other ways you've not been trying hard enough. Dagas is an awakening, it's a dawn. Lightning in a Bottle, this version of Lightning in a Bottle, because there's two versions of the card, is a very manufactured success. It points to things not being the way that they are presented to be. Judgment is all about looking at our past words and thoughts and actions and not necessarily judging ourselves negatively, but honestly and with no bias, looking at all the ways we've acted and taking stock of whether it was good to do it or not good to do it, learning what we can and moving forward. It can be a phoenix moment if you navigate it right. And if you navigate it right, the sun is right on the other side. This breakthrough and learning what needs to be learned and taking the steps necessary from this will help you find this immense happiness. The oracle cards merely confirm all of that. Portal of Light speaks of a breakthrough. Miracle of Isis speaks of healing. This awakening and this shift in perspective, this moment of how have I really been acting, how have I been treating people, how have I been treating myself, is an incredible opportunity for you to heal, for you to learn and grow, and for you to reposition yourself and poise yourself better toward your goals, toward the things you want to achieve, toward the things you want. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't sit there going, oh, I can never do anything right. Woe is me. I'm the worst person. No, nothing like that. Just consider, how do you act toward or speak to or think about other people? How do you speak to or act around them versus when they're not around? How do you treat yourself? And if you like the answer, great. Do more. Lean into it. If you don't like the answer, I think you know what you should probably do. Pisces, you have pulled the Ten of Swords, the inverted Wheel of Fortune, the black and white candle, the dark sun inverted, and the Queen of Heaven oracle card. Pisces is feeling strung out as well. Ten of Swords is pain and suffering. It often represents a rock bottom sort of moment. But this version hints at some self-infliction of what you're dealing with. The inverted wheel Similarly, your situation is not the best, but you do have some power over correcting your situation. Not everything is in your control, and that's normally what the wheel indicates, is like, hey, some things are out of your control and you just have to let them work themselves out. But there are things you can, likewise, it reminds you there are things you can control. So what are those things you can control? How can you affect them? The black and white candle is about ritual. Not necessarily in a spiritual sense, though that obviously does apply if you have spiritual rituals. Praying every day, reading tarot, whatever it might be. And it asks you to evaluate, especially with you being in this situation right now of kind of suffering and hurting for whatever has happened. What are the things that you do every day, almost like clockwork? These are the things you can consider rituals. And how do they affect your outlook and the course of your day? Are they beneficial? They energize you, they get you excited to do the things you need to do, they help invigorate you to be able to get things done whether or not it's a task you enjoy? Or do they make it difficult to get out of bed? Do they enable you to avoid your responsibilities? What are your rituals? How are they affecting you? How can you change them if they're not good? The dark sun, and this really drives home the more self-inflicted aspects of these two. The dark sun, when inverted, outright says that you are being too hard on yourself for some mistake that you have made. It effectively indicates that you are being masochistic. You are judge, jury, and executioner for your own mistakes and fuck-ups, and you feel like you are the worst person in the world for something you did that you apparently shouldn't have done, or something you did wrong. And you need to remember that however big or small that mistake was, you are human. And you don't deserve the level of suffering that you're putting yourself through. Queen of Heaven reminds you that you have all the qualities a leader should have. You are a strong, merciful, compassionate individual with a lot of wisdom to boot, though you may not ever admit to yourself how wise you really are. Being this hard on yourself does not set an example for others. If someone you cared very deeply about made a similar mistake, and you saw them acting toward themselves the way you're acting to yourself, how would you respond? Would you tell them that they deserve that much punishment or worse? Or would you tell them, hey, I think you're being a little hard on yourself. It's not that big of a deal. And now you've learned something and you can try not to make that mistake again in the future, right? Be kinder to yourself. Recognize your mistake, yes, learn from it, but be kinder to yourself in recovering from it. Lead not just others, but lead yourself by example. Treat yourself the way you would your best friend or your mom. How can you change your rituals and your day-to-day to be kinder to yourself and avoid making mistakes like this one again? Aries, you have drawn the tradition, the Five of Wands in reverse, the empty, the Eight of Wands, the Devil, and your oracle card is Pyramid of Light. The tradition card at the bottom of the deck wants you to focus on reconnecting with the things that you, your family, your friends, your faith consider traditions. All traditions have come about for important reasons, and to engage in those traditions is not necessarily giving in to strict and stifling old ways that should be no more. Sometimes these traditions are important, and engaging in those traditions and understanding why they were put in place helps us to better understand the mindset of our ancestors and why they did the things they did and believed what they believed, as well as if those traditions need to be ended or changed. Understanding why they exist the way they do helps us better come up with an alternative should one be needed. Engage in traditions. What better time than at Yule? Engage in all of the traditions around this time of year that your family does. No, regardless of how silly you think they are, and let yourself be open to understanding why those traditions exist in the first place. Engage in them open-heartedly, without judgment, and see what you can learn about your family's past and about yourself as you do so. The Five of Wands indicates struggle, strife, conflict. There is some sort of conflict going on, either internally or between you and your your family. The empty, especially inverted, indicates something from the past that was missed, some opportunity that was not able to be taken, some change that happened that is irrevocable, that you are obsessing over and regretting, perhaps. It's one of those things where I wish this had gone differently, but there's no way to change what happened, so now I'm just kind of stuck here. The Eight of Wands shows that in spite of some of how you're feeling, things need to move very quickly right now. A lot of things are happening all at once or in rapid succession, and you're just gonna have to be able to go with that flow. The Devil, I think hand in hand with the Empty, shows me that you are obsessed with something. There's a dependency, there's an addiction that you are dealing with. It might not be you, it could be someone else that you're concerned for, but there's a dependency, an obsession, I'm gonna keep using those words, that needs to be removed. Particularly because the Pyramid of Light is a card of protection and of wanting to see you push forward, to keep working toward whatever your goal or achievement you have in mind is. But it recognizes that there are things that are interfering with your ability to keep pressing forward. Things like this conflict, things like this regret need not be held on to because there's no changing what happened. Things like this addiction. Going back to traditions, going back to the start, going back to square one, might help you reframe and reorient what you're after and why you're after it. What are you pursuing and why is it important? To help cut out the distractions and the interferences so you can move more quickly. Because it looks like whatever you're trying to do, if you miss a beat, it could throw you off course entirely. You need to be prepared for things to move quickly, which means you have to let go of the things that are holding you back. Taurus, you have pulled the Knight of Swords, the Hawk Moth, the House of God, the Queen of Strays, Four of Coins, Riding Death, Motel Death, and your Oracle card is Power over 7 Scorpions. Moving through this season, Taurus, you are going to be going through a lot of changes in your life. The Knight of Swords indicates that things will move fairly quickly, but it's lots of positive forward movement. Hawk Moth indicates that you're not too terribly concerned with the exact destination, and you're accepting that things are uncertain, but you're trusting the process as you move forward, which is very good and very healthy, especially because House of God is a form of the Tower, and it points to when things feel superficial, when things feel shallow. And I think a lot of the changes that you'll be dealing with will help you to kind of usher any relationships and any choices, any aspects of your life that feel superficial, that feel unnecessary, out. You need to let go of those sorts of things. And to do so once you realize it's there and in the quietest way possible will probably be the best option. The Queen of Strays is about our found and our chosen families. Embodies the concept of the blood of the covenant being thicker than the water of the womb. Those relationships we choose to forge with others and maintain often will be stronger and more important than those that are simply formed by having been born at a certain place at a certain time to a certain group of people. That's not to say you should turn away from your blood family if you are still connected with them, but it is saying that found and forged family, I like to say forged family, because those people you put work into keeping that relationship strong are the best people. You're gonna need to lean on them when things do get tricky. And as you go through these changes, you'll find who these people are that you can lean on, and lean on them you should. Let them be there for you, let them know what's going on at any turn, and be there for them likewise. The Four of Coins does say that financially and stability and resource-wise, you're doing well. You don't necessarily have new things coming in, but you're not necessarily losing very much either. You're fairly steady, hopefully more gain than loss, but for the most part steady. Riding Death says that the changes that are occurring as you move forward are going to affect basically every aspect of your life, But kind of as a juxtaposition, this version of death indicates that it's not going to be necessarily the most dramatic. It will probably feel dramatic and like a big deal because of how many aspects of your life are going to be affected, and how many relationships might be affected, how many people around you might be affected in ways that neither you nor they could have foreseen. But it's not all going to be huge, sweeping changes, that are unmistakable. Sometimes it's going to be really subtle things. It's going to be little things. It's going to be very slow and gradual in some cases. Power over 7 Scorpions indicates that as these things occur, particularly with these two, with how many things are going to change and how subtle some of the changes may be, you may end up at odds with people you did not expect. You may have people in your life who see you going through these changes and forging a better life ahead of yourself, and for whatever reason decide to take it personally that you're making these changes. For whatever reason, they feel personally affected negatively by changes you've made for yourself. And like I said, Queen of Strays, you're going to find the people you can actually lean on, the important people as you go through this, the people that need to be let go of will reveal themselves, and you are reminded that you have power over those situations. Choose the higher road, choose to be mature about it, but if nothing else, you have the power to tell these people, no, I will not let you sully what I am doing by being upset at something I'm doing that shouldn't be affecting you. If you really think if it really bothers you that much, you don't have to stay. That is the least you can do, is tell them, you can either be happy for me or you can go. But lots and lots of big changes going on for Taurus right now. With everybody, I think. But yeah, just lots of changes that are ultimately for the better, because it indicates significant growth into who you're supposed to be. Gemini, you have drawn for Yule the inverted Page of Swords, the Two of Whips, the King of Swords, Riding Death, and your Oracle card is Portal of Light. I'm seeing perhaps a tense situation. The inverted Page of Swords indicates a lack of foresight, having spoken before thinking or spoken out of turn, turning your words and your thoughts against the wrong person. Someone is taking a situation out on someone who does not deserve it. I don't know that it's you necessarily though, because we have two sides of a situation here in the Two of Whips and the King of Swords. The Two of Whips indicates someone who's being a bully, someone who is in a low position of power. They're not happy with where they currently sit, and rather than taking logical and reasonable and mature steps to change their situation, they are instead turning their disappointment and their anger about where they currently sit and what they don't like about it against other people. They're being a bully. They're using the power they do have to take advantage of those who have less. The King of Swords, on the other hand, is someone who is very well in charge of all that is within their purview and their domain. And he is logical, soundly so. He is capable of defending himself, not just mentally and verbally, but physically as well, should it come to it. He knows how to wield his sword. He is in a position where he need not do so. He is prepared should it be necessary, but he recognizes that currently it's not necessary. First of all, there are others before him who will leap to the cause before he needs to. He has knights, he has guards, but if he is called to do so, he will defend what is his. So again, two sides of something. Someone in a content position of power who recognizes that at any time there may become a threat, but currently there is none, and he knows he can deal with said threat if it arises. Someone with less power, or perceives themselves to not be powerful enough, who is thus being the threat to other people. He feels he is threatened, and thus is acting on those perceived threats. I think these two are going to come to a head, because Riding Death and Portal of Light both indicate changes and breakthroughs. I suspect this bully has not thought through what is happening and perhaps the King of Swords, which I believe is you, Gemini. The King of Swords is potentially aware of this person, has not fully foreseen the ramifications of this bully acting the way he is. These two are going to come to a head, and you should be prepared to need to deal with this person. Riding death indicates sweeping changes. Whatever the fallout from this interaction is going to affect a lot more than just you and the other person. It's going to have changes far beyond whatever occurs between these two people that neither of you can foresee. But you should be prepared to deal with this person and do your best to stay mature, to stay reasonable. Don't be so unemotional that you're cold and harsh. Be balanced in how you deal with it. But as I said, Portal of Light is a breakthrough. And I have hope and faith that the breakthrough will be you talking sense into this bully and getting them to understand how they've been wrong and helping them grow and mature and start down a better path. On the other hand, the breakthrough could be you needing to cut this person out and helping other people see that this person needs to be cut out. It's very, and it's fitting that this is a 2. Often a 2 pops up at a bit of a crossroads where you can either stay where you are or move forward. It's a choice. The bully is choosing to act, as a bully, but also in the interaction that's going to happen, there's a crossroads there. The bully can either listen to reason and be a better person, or the bully can double down and people will walk away from the bully. Either way, a change, a transition, and a breakthrough will happen. So as I said, be prepared for that circumstance to come to a head and do your best to use your head first and foremost to navigate it as rationally and maturely as possible. Cancer, you have drawn the 10 of Wands, the 9 of Discs, the Lovers, the 5 of Swords in reverse, and your Oracle card is the Eye of Horus. Cancer, I think you've been heavily concerned with a particular responsibility, and I think it's starting to take a toll that you perhaps haven't quite caught yet, and if you catch it now and adjust, you'll be better off. The 10 of Wands indicates burden, responsibility. Typically it is depicted as a person trying desperately to carry all 10 of these staves without dropping any of them. And it indicates how much responsibility and burden is on your shoulders, or at least that you feel is on your shoulders. And it can be a lot to handle, and whether or not you let on to other people what's going on, that is ultimately your choice. I think you should open up to others. But remember that if nothing else, sometimes you need to put the weight down and take a break, let your muscles recover, let your shoulders recover. Take care of what you need to keep yourself going, and then you can pick the weight back up and keep going. The 9 of Discs similarly indicates that you've built up your resources, your money, your shelter. You've gotten to a point where you have time and energy that you can choose to devote to whatever you see fit. But in order to make sure that none of it is wasted and that it's maintained, you're perhaps overly sacrificing yourself. You've piled on a bit more burden than you need to, and so you're working yourself harder than you should in order to make sure that you keep earning, that you don't waste it. The Lovers in this version is a longing, a deep searching for something that is missing, either someone you've lost or someone you simply haven't found yet. And Lovers often also indicates a choice, and in this case I think it is that choice of whether or not you let other people know what's going on, so at least you can get some of the burden and the weight out of your head. The choice to keep going in spite of how you are wearing yourself down, or to take a break every now and then. The inverted 5 of Swords is Pyrrhic success. Regardless of how you handle this, you're going to succeed at what you're trying to do, but the cost could be more than the actual success is worth. You want to make sure that you're not losing yourself along the way as you work so hard to achieve what this is. The Eye of Horus is a card of perception. It indicates that you are protected, you are loved, you have others around you who care about you and want to help in whatever way they can. But more so, you are being given a chance to look at this situation another way, in a way that perhaps your own field of view couldn't quite catch because you were so focused. It's sort of you couldn't see the forest for the trees, but now someone has yanked you up to see the full scale of everything. Does that change anything about how you want to go about navigating this? You're taking responsibility for things that you need to do. Don't take on so much that you crush yourself with the weight. Leo, you have pulled the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, the Three of Swords, the Ace of Hounds, the Two of Whips, the King of Swords, and your oracle is Goddess of 10,000 Names. You are dealing with a bit of grief right now. The inverted Seven of Pentacles is a card of having started to see results from work you're putting into a project or a goal, but because of what you're dealing with outside of it, it's affected how much work you're actually putting in, how well you're working toward your goal, and I'm seeing almost the very beginnings of you potentially becoming complacent and not giving as much, but still seeing some reward for not working as hard. And so there's a potential for rewarding non-work and thus perpetuating you not working as hard, which will then actually eventually slow down your reward and perhaps prevent it entirely. The Three of Swords is a card of heartbreak, plain and simple. This could be a breakup. This could be a death. This could be a dream you've had no longer being possible and having to let go of it. Whatever the case is, you have lost, and it has affected you. Understandably so. You're essentially mourning, to some extent, whatever this loss is, and it's affecting your ability to focus on things that still need to be handled. You are, however, from the Ace of Hounds, stronger than you're letting yourself remember or believe. The hound is a domesticated animal. It serves a master, but it is still a beast. It's still an animal. It still has teeth and claws. It is still capable of defending itself. You, Leo, are more than a hound. You're a lion. You definitely have teeth and claws. And lions, I think, are some of the best example of an animal that is fierce, but can just as easily be docile. You are capable of picking up and continuing on in spite of your grief. You absolutely are. And you are also capable of not letting this grief affect how you treat others. Because, like with Gemini, you have the balance between the Two of Whips and the King of Swords. I think in this case, rather than it being yourself and another person, I think these are two options that lie ahead of you. And the Ace of Hounds is quite literally looking forward toward this balance. So I think you have a crossroads. Are you going to let this heartbreak and this grief taint you and cause you to lash out unnecessarily toward yourself and others, thus continuing to affect what you've been working forward toward? Or are you going to be able to wrap your head around it and let it sort of drive you forward? Are you going to be able to pick up what's left and continue moving forward in spite of the grief and the heartache? Because whatever was lost is lost, and it is unfortunate, but there are still things that matter. There are still things that are important. This is not the end of the world for you. You must keep going. And that brings us to the Goddess of 10,000 Names, which reminds you that you are no single version of yourself, and thus you should not be limited by any version of yourself you once were, or by any other person's perception of who you are. You can be both heartbroken and strong. You can be child, lover, parent, friend, sibling, all at once. You are not any one of those, you are all of those. Do not limit yourself to being someone grieving who feels they can't go on. You are grieving, but you can move forward because you must. Because you need not only to survive, but to thrive. The grief doesn't go away. It doesn't get smaller. But as you continue moving forward to the best of your ability, not the bare minimum, but the best, you will help your life to continue to grow around the grief so it seems smaller in the grand scheme of things. You have the strength to turn around and look forward and push forward. Virgo's spread is the inverted High Priestess, Frost in reverse, 8 of Pentacles in reverse, Death, one of the versions of Death, hang on, Death of Rebirth, or Rebirth Death, I don't know how to say it necessarily to make it make sense. You'll get it. 6 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, and your Oracle card is Cartouche. I think there's some self-doubt going on, some concern for what lies beyond. You're not really sure what lies next for you, or you know what is next, but you're not sure how to get there. I think there's just generally a bit of too much in your own head and doubting yourself, doubting where you're going, and starting to be affected by that. The inverted High Priestess is that confusion between what is belief, what is truth, what is your own thought process, and what is intuition. The Frost card, inverted, says you are concerned about certain things from the past coming to light and being revealed. And the inverted 8 of Pentacles is you doubting your ability to complete what you have set out to do, and thus losing the motivation and the energy to keep working on it. You need to remember that the things that you believe at any given moment are not necessarily true. There's change that needs to happen. I think this change is you refreshing your perspective of what you can and cannot do, what you have and have not accomplished before, what from your past truly is or is not celebratory. Like, it almost feels like a bit of a bout of imposter syndrome that you're navigating right now, Virgo. You feel you have not actually earned a lot of what you have, and so you're worried about not only how you're going to accomplish that which lies ahead of you, but about people figuring out that you've duped them all, but you didn't. Every ounce of work you have put into things has earned you every ounce of your rewards. So you need to have a bit of a phoenix moment. You need to renew yourself and remember that you are fully capable of reaching what you're currently working toward, because look how much you've already done. You're not an imposter. You didn't fake it till you made it. You made it. You are so deserving of everything you have, and you are deserving of that which you still see. 2 ways you can help yourself reset your brain on this. The 6 of Pentacles is a card of generosity, and there's 2 sides to this. You could either be receiving something and thus need to remember to be open to receiving. Don't scoff at it. Whether it would be denying something handed to you because you think you can get on without it, you don't need it, you don't want to be seen as weak for needing a handout, or it's more of a selfless position of, I don't need it because there's someone who would need it more. If you need something, you need something. It doesn't matter if other people also need it. Or this could be you needing to give to others to remind yourself how blessed you are and how much you've earned. This is a card of generosity and of being willing and open to share in things, and part of sharing, like I said, is accepting things from other people. Don't keep convincing yourself you don't deserve it because you haven't. No, you earned whatever people are giving to you. The 3 of Cups, similarly, is reunion. It's time with friends. It's revelry. It's just good-hearted hanging out with your friends and your family. And you need some of this right now to help you remember just how loved you are and how much you've earned, because these people are your friends because they've decided that you're a good person and someone they want to be friends with, not because you tricked them into thinking that, no, you're not an imposter. In fact, the surest sign that you are not an imposter is that you are dealing with imposter syndrome. Kind of funny how that works. The Cartouche reminds you that part of your issue is probably how you're talking to yourself, and perhaps how others might be talking to you, but we'll deal with that in a second. Words have power. Not necessarily in a hockety-pockety whackety-whack, Merlin packing his odds and ends in bric-a-brac, but if you say something enough, your brain starts to believe it. And this goes for praying to unseen deities, as much as it goes for what you believe you are capable of. And if the words out of your mouth toward yourself are, I don't deserve this, then of course you're going to feel like you didn't earn any of the blessings you have. Try it a different way. Instead of, I don't deserve this, simply say, this is more than I anticipated, and I'm incredibly grateful. Not, I can't do this, but I'm not sure I can do this. How can I be more sure? Like, even if it's simply changing it to, I feel like I can't, or I won't, or I don't, etc., etc. As opposed to outright saying, I am incapable. Even a small shift like that can be enough to help you stop doubting, because it acknowledges how you feel without potentially making it so. The words you use and the names you call yourself can do a lot. Don't call yourself stupid. Don't call yourself weak. This is why I lately have taken to saying I'm a fool, not an idiot. I'm silly. I'm bonkers. But I know I'm not stupid. I'm inexperienced in some things, but that doesn't make me unintelligent. I am a fool, not an idiot. You are learning. You are growing. You have so much potential, and you know you are capable of achieving things because you've already achieved so much. Stop telling yourself you can't. Stop telling yourself you didn't earn any of what you have. Focus on the gratitude for what you have, and on the hope and excitement for what comes next. Roxy may join us for this one. She's right here. Libra. You've ended up with a big spread, partially because you pulled Giuseppe, so you got the 3 extra cards. You had 6 cards before the extra 3, so bear with me. But you have pulled the 9 of Swords in reverse, the 5 of Swords, the Moon in reverse, the Page of Swords, the 8 of Wands, the Joker, Giuseppe, and Giuseppe's 3 more cards are the inverted Hawk Moth, Black Moon, and the 6 inking balls in reverse. So, Libra, I think, is dealing with a lot of similar concerns and anxieties that Capricorn was. There is a lot weighing on you right now, Libra. And you, similarly to Capricorn, are, I think, trying not to let others on to how much you're dealing with, because for you it is much more important to make sure that other people's problems are dealt with before you deal with your own. You are trying to make sure that you are there for anyone and everyone who could potentially need you, and it's wearing you down, whether or not you will ever admit it. The 9 of Swords is an anxiety or depression that is weighing on you, and typically inverted it is worsened, but in this case it is perhaps alleviated. You're seeing that there is a way out of this. You just haven't quite taken those steps yet. There is a way out of this situation. There's Roxanne. So now the delay is perhaps that walking away from something causing you stress is also causing you some stress because you don't want to walk away. It feels like giving up. It feels like going back on your word. But if staying in the situation is doing more harm than walking away will, then perhaps it is better to walk away. Walking away from something that cannot be rectified is not the same thing as giving up. It is recognizing that losses must be cut for the betterment of all. The 5 of Swords further indicates conflict and strife. And I think it is the struggle and the burden that you've placed on yourself. Similarly, inverted moon indicates a heavy burden, so much so that you can't necessarily keep track of what is true, what is not, what actually pertains to you that you need to worry about versus things that you don't need to be involved in, whether or not you're aware of it. Page of Swords is someone who is, in this case, I think, hesitating too much to make decisions and to act on information because you're so afraid to take the wrong step or to do or say something that will upset anyone. maybe not anyone, you're concerned about upsetting very specific people. If those people are truly there for you, anything you say that comes out wrong can be rectified. Otherwise, you need to walk away from them. Eight of Wands indicates that you cannot keep hesitating. You need to start thinking and acting a little bit faster. You need to be in the moment, partially in spite of how you're feeling. I think what you need to act on are the things that are your personal purview. You've been so concerned with taking care of other people and being there for others and trying to give to others that things that are your own responsibility and concern are falling away. You need to shift your perspective. You need to start acting on and making decisions about your problems, your questions. Because in doing so, you are going to start seeing things righting themselves again. Giuseppe is boundless potential and boundless happiness. And the extra cards he has had me pull show me that part of why you're not making some of these decisions about your own concerns and you're focusing so hard on other people is because you yourself are anxious about what lies beyond that you don't know about in terms of your own decisions. You're not hesitating because you're worried about upsetting other people. You're hesitating because you're worried about making the wrong decision about your own life. You're hesitating because you would rather let other people involved in what you need to do make the decision. You cannot let fear of the unknown hold you back, because I promise whatever it is not nearly as scary as you currently perceive it to be. The Black Moon is about striking out into that unknown, not only for the sake of getting it over with and for satisfying curiosity, but also to see what lies ahead and make a path that is safe for others to follow you. The inverted inking pads is perhaps you. I think these first steps into the unknown are you walking away from all of this anxiety, from whatever is causing this. It's you taking the steps to better balance, taking care of your own responsibilities, and doing everything for all of the people that are around you that you care so heavily about. Doing so much for so many people around you is such an incredible thing. Don't forget to do things for yourself too. It's not selfish. It is ensuring that you will continue to be strong enough to provide for everyone else that you feel drawn to provide for. There's a blank canvas ahead of you on some aspect of your life. You are part of the decision of what goes on that canvas. Do not be afraid of any misplaced strokes. Focus instead on how much potential there is to paint something beautiful. Make those first steps to move away from whatever is worrying you and to start making decisions that matter. Okay, camera died as I was doing that, so I'm just gonna kind of start over. Scorpio, last but certainly not least, has pulled the Horizon, Giuseppe, the Eight of Wands, the Joker, the Six of Swords in reverse. Your three extra cards from Giuseppe are the Two of Swords in reverse, the Hole in reverse, the Two of Wands inverted, and your Oracle card is Healing the Divine Masculine. You, Scorpio, like some of the other readings, seem to be concerned about what lies ahead and how to navigate it. The Horizon indicates that there is something you've been seeing in shadow that is deeply concerning you. But once you shine the light on it and bring it out into the day, you'll realize that the problem, or its solution, whatever it may be, is not nearly as scary or daunting as you have initially perceived it to be. Giuseppe is a card of boundless potential and the happiness that can come on the other side of that potential, especially if we harness it. That is why you draw extra cards, is to see just how much there is ahead of you that you haven't seen yet, or how many options there are in front of you. The inverted Two of Swords indicates a need for compromise and a situation where there is not necessarily any single right answer. But if there's no single right answer, that also means there's no single wrong answer either. Whatever seems to be the best option simply is the best option. The Hole indicates something missing. When inverted, it indicates an attempt to fill it with the wrong things. You're engaging in other things to try to fill a void that you know can't be filled that way. The inverted Two of Wands is either poor planning or plans that need to shift. You may not be able to necessarily go about things the way you initially wanted to or thought you could. That doesn't mean your cause is lost. You just have to recalculate a little bit, shift course a little. The Eight of Wands indicates, however, that you're not slowing down. You can't. Things are still going to move quickly. So whatever path you're going to take, whatever option you choose, you need to do it now. However scary it may seem, but remember, it's not as scary as you think it is. And in making these decisions and just moving forward, rather than lingering too much about the unknown and what you don't know could happen on the other side, is going to help you with overcoming this delay or obstacle. There is something that you have been needing to walk away from, some habit that needs to be broken, some thought process that needs to be changed, and you've been avoiding doing that for some reason. The inverted Six of Swords is telling you to stop avoiding it. Staying put where you are because it's more comfortable than facing what you haven't foreseen and don't know that lies outside of that comfort zone is going to be a bigger detriment to you. Complacency is worse than the discomfort of new experiences. You need to shed light on your situation so you can see it for what it is, not for what you're scared that it is, and start making decisions based on reality, not what you believe. Your fear should not hold you back, especially because navigating all of this is giving the parts of yourself that act to protect you. Like, you're avoiding navigating this and moving forward and making decisions is you trying to protect yourself, which is understandable, but there's nothing to protect yourself from. You're overworking that sense of self-preservation, and it needs a break. So you need to come to terms with what the situation really is, putting your own thoughts and feelings aside for a moment, and make decisions based on reality. Because you need to give that self-preservation, the divine masculine, to put in another term, the parts of yourself that are concerned with survival, with safety, need a break. So you need to focus on acting and let that take its break. Because by choosing to step forward in spite of your fear, you are teaching this sense, this part of yourself, that there is no threat and that it can rest, so that you can move forward and it can be better prepared when a threat actually comes along. Stop letting your fear be the thing that stops you. And there we have our 12 zodiac horoscopes for the season of Yule 2025, moving into 2026. I hope, as with all of these videos, that you have found whatever guidance you needed herein. I hope you watched the whole thing, because remember, you need to take what resonates and leave the rest. I forgot to say that at the top. Because the reading that is for your sun sign may not necessarily be the best reading for you to help you navigate your situation. Many times during these videos, all 12 readings will have similar undertones of what's kind of going on, even though the exact scenario for each sign is a little bit different and the exact solution is going to be different. All that said, I wish you all of the best of love and light and merriment that the Yule season can possibly bring. I hope that all of your celebrations with your family and friends are as amazing as possible. I wish you the merriest of Christmases, the most blessed of Yules, the most revelrous of Saturnalias, and the happiest New Year. And I shall bring more readings to you in bulk. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you may know where those buttons and links are to show me that love, but I usually like to remind people around this time of year that you should hit the thumbs up button to like the video. You can hit the share button to send this to others who you think will enjoy it. You can leave a comment down below letting me know which reading most resonated with you or how you're going to celebrate Yule this year. Or if nothing else, you can hit subscribe to follow my channel and ring the notification bell to turn on all notifications so you never miss a single video. If you would like to see more content like this vlog specifically, I have my divination playlist linked in the cards in the top right-hand corner of the video or in the description below, where you can also find my Linktree portal if you would like to keep up with my adventures on other social media planes such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and more. As always, I would like to give a huge special thanks to my covens of patrons and Twitch subscribers for continuing to be my biggest supporters, and if you, dear viewer, would like to join either of those ranks, again, check that Linktree portal for my Patreon, which begins at $1 per month, or my Twitch channel, where a tier 1 sub starts at $5.99 per month. Thanks again, stay tuned for part 52 of Breath of the Wild, as well as the Renfest haul vlog, and possibly the haul from Cajun Con. I haven't really decided. We didn't get that much, so there may not be a separate video for that. And I shall speak to you all again very, very soon. Keep aiming, my loves, and blessed Yule. Mwah! And yo, Saturnalia!